Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Azul. Your killing blow of the ogre reverberates through your whole body. And then you realize it's not just the blow that's doing this. You look at your hand, and you know when you hold a spear, you hold it like against the back of your arm or the bottom side of your arm a little bit. The spear, that double helix, has unwound itself and then rewound itself along your arm from like your elbow down to your wrist, across your hand, and is now permanently attached to your arm.
So I just have a... Does my arm end in a point? Or
No,
is there
there's
still
just...
a hand?
No, you still have your hand. It's still there, but like the double helix of the spear is now double helixing around your arm and then coming back to that nice thin helix, stretching out for a few feet and then coming to the double pointed spear end.
One step closer to becoming the Shrek.
I think I watched this in horror.
I don't think Nyx notices at first what is happening to Kale's arm, but as the ogre finally goes down, she takes like her dagger that she stabbed the ogre with in her two hands. With a loud ripping noise, she cuts the ogre's throat, grabs his head by his hair with both her hands, and pulls the head back. So there's a large gash opening up in his throat, and like a rain of blood just showers Iswal, after the killing blow. So they are entirely covered in ogre blood.
Sweet.
Wow.
Well, it's dead. We killed that champion. Does that mean they have to leave or what? I
Has
say
the
to sort
drumming
of
stopped?
to nobody in particular.
Yes, the chanting and drumming has stopped. And gazing out towards the forest, as night falls, you can see a woman walking towards you. A human woman who's definitely Virasi, goddess of death and destruction. You can just feel that coming off of her as she makes the 200-yard walk from the tree line to the defenses, carefully and calmly. And from behind you, you hear this groaning, "God damn it," from Malchus, god of chaos, who walks forward, puts an arm around Azul and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Come on, let's go see her. The rest of you guys can come if you want." And he looks down at Greg, kicks him. And Greg, you can go back to 1 HP when he throws a healing spell on you. And as you sort of snap to reality, he kicks you again and is like, "Come on, you should be here to see this. Someone catch him up on the details."
All right.
I'll help him up and fill him in.
He
This
walks
looks like a...
Wow, I feel remarkably healthy after that spear hit.
Izul looks like a child who's like getting marched off to like detention or something like that. Looking down, their feet, a little ashamed,
As
but
we're
not
walking
entirely sure what they've
towards-
done.
As we're walking towards Virasi, I have a question of Malchus I've been meaning to ask.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of staring at Virasi. Like, this will be the second time I've run into this one. Tell me, while you're here in human form, what would happen should we slay her? Do you die? Do you return to the heavens?
Whoa, already talking about killing gods? Maybe I gave the magic weapon to the wrong person. You might be my favorite one. I can't tell you, spoilers, but why don't you keep exploring that avenue, you know? But also, she's my sister, so like...
I had the opportunity before, but I did not take it. I was uncertain what the outcome might be.
You want to try it? I mean, I can distract her if you want to come up behind her and, try and take her head off.
If she is our enemy, and it would return her to the sky, it seems a worthy ask.
I mean, it'll probably reverberate off of her. She'll turn her head around while her body faces me. She'll like breathe out some gas. She'll wither down to bones and dust, but still like sort of exist in your bones and like suffer, 1,000 years of torture. But who knows? There's like a 5% chance you could hurt her.
Perhaps we shall find a more permanent solution another time.
I mean, 5%'s pretty good, right?
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Yeah. You guys walk across the pit, and there's just sort of like a golden bridge that appears beneath your feet as you walk across, and as you step off, the little golden bridge vanishes again, and make it across to where Verasi is. The two lines meet halfway. She looks at Malchus, and then she looks to Azul and says, "Brother, if you're going to arm your people with artifacts, then I will arm mine. Is this really the way that you wish to go?" He kicks the ground a little bit and goes, "No, but like he did so well. I felt like he deserved a reward." She looks at him flatly, emotionlessly, stoically, and says, "Not all are deserving of rewards, especially that one. But it is your choice." He grumbles and like comes up and like puts a hand on your spear arm, and the spear just sort of like shrivels and shrinks and withers and falls off your arm and lands in his hand as like a little tiny replica, and he just puts it back in a pocket. And he looks at you, Azul, and says, "Hey, sorry, but you heard the boss. No magic weapons for you, otherwise they get magic weapons. I'll get you some later, don't worry about it." All right. And Verasi, probably overhearing everything he says, because, she's a goddess and all that jazz, looks to Azul, gives you a furrowed brow, looks to the others with a nod of approval, and then turns around and heads back to her side of the lines. And as you guys turn and head back to yours. And as you walk, he goes, "All right, so clearly you can see there's some sort of rules for what's going on. Let me just give you, like, the quick overview of everything, so maybe this will answer all your questions. I'm a god." No applause? Fine. "And that's my sister. And clearly we're going to be fighting over this area. But we can only really intervene so much, I remember earlier when you were asking me if I could dig these pits. Sure, I could dig these pits. But if I dig these pits, then she'll just magic them trebuchets. And if I give you magic spears, she'll give them magic swords. So my level of intervention in this thing is merely as an advisor, as a cheerleader, as someone to help you out when you're kind of stuck, but you're going to have to do all the heavy lifting yourselves. I think you did great with their first champion. They've only got crappier heroes from here on in. So, I think we cheated the system just enough to get us everything that we needed. Any questions?"
That was
Why
my only
exactly are we
spear.
fighting them? I mean, I know that you have commanded it, and so it will be done. But could this be resolved without the slaughter of her people?
Yeah, I guess I could just magic you out of existence. So you
I
see
would
this
not
valley that you're in?
appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that plan. This valley you're in is like connecting these two larger land masses, and I was gonna like populate one land mass, and she was gonna do another, and this valley was gonna be like this middle ground between the two sides that like could be fought over, or like could be like a neutral ground, or maybe like where the two sides could meet. And so I don't know. We're gonna kind of see how you guys played it, but this valley actually turned out super fucking cool, way cooler than the plains. So I just wanted to put my people here instead. And it like kind of violated the rules. Got a little pissed. It's supposed to be neutral territory, but sisters, right? She looks at Nyx. I know you don't have any family, but you understand what I'm talking about.
Sure, of course I do.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Azul,
never go out of my way to piss off Nyx, however. I would merely claim that she may have cannibalized one of our friends. Friendly ribbon.
I didn't realize you were a follower of Astaire. Good on you.
I look
Is he
at my
looking at me?
beads.
Yeah, he's looking at you, Nix.
Oh.
I just furrow my brows.
Azul, you don't remember your sister, do you? You've got like no memory of her whatsoever.
It's all a bit hazy.
Yeah.
But there were more of us.
Well, if ever we decided to make a god of baking, she would have been it. That woman can work an oven.
But you say can work an oven. You didn't say she was able to. That's not past tense. You said she can.
Oh my god, it's an idiom, you idiot. To say one can do something in that tonality totally implies that they can do it like really fucking well. And in this situation, can, it also means like does, will, do. Well, you know, I've had it enough with your like little quips here and there.
You said does, will, do. You didn't say did.
You can
Inside
talk.
check on this man. Goddamn, this is not 5e.
You can have a mouth on you. See what I just did? I used the same phrase in a way to make it more clear, but then also to knock you down at the same time. Yeah. You can have a real mouth on you. Weird woods witch.
You just clarified once again what I said before. So what you're actually saying is his sister is still around.
Oh, is that what you meant? I thought you were just making like semantic remarks about like can being the ability to do things, but not necessarily having done it. Okay, you meant like, you know, his sister's still alive. You were trying to like delve into the true nature of reality and, you know, who exists and who doesn't exist.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That would work if I was careful with my words. That makes sense.
Is my sibling on this plane?
I mean, kind of, sort of. Don't worry about it. It's not important. You don't even remember her, so like, why would you even care? Or do you? You remember Allie? Do you even know their name's Allie? No? Okay, fine. Look, you guys did great. You killed the ogre. You lost your magic weapon, but it's cool because we killed the ogre.
That was actually my only spear.
Well, I can't give you a magic one. Maybe one of your friends has a weapon you can borrow. You know? Make some friends.
I hand them a bloody dagger. I'm like, if you want, I have 5 of these. If you would like to use one, I guess I could part with it.
Where is Bob
Power
at?
friendship.
I am sure that Bob
smith?
would be happy to part with those spear.
Oh, Bob the merchant. Yeah, he's kicking it back in Acropolis. It's what it's like a 2-day walk there.
You should return to Acropolis should you be needing a spear.
Why don't we all head back and rest for the night?
Oh, before we go back, can we just maybe decapitate the giant ogre and hang up his head somewhere outside as a warning for the other ogres?
Holy shit. All right, Nix, you're back in. I love it. Such good planning, epic ideas, totally like spooky and scary, warning people off with blood and heads. Totally fantastic.
Didn't you already do that, or did you just slit its throat?
Oh, I just slit the throat. You have to cut all the way through. I think I'm gonna need Abaddon's help with that one. I can't cut through bones with just a dagger. It's taking a long time, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it, obviously, but the crunching noises and, you know, the muscle strength it takes is going to take forever.
Happy to help, but maybe June's sword is better equipped.
Sure. I will...
Also, if another detail, if anyone's interested in doing fan art, is the light spell is totally still active on the ogre while she was cutting a throat.
Oh, that's excellent.
So
So
head back,
bringing it
light
up-
pouring out the eyes and mouth as blood.
Does it last
sprays
into the
everywhere.
night? Because it would be, you know, it would be lovely if they can see it in the night, like a big lantern.
Hours, yes. Maybe an hour.
Oh, wait, did the ogre have a spear? There you go.
Oh, the ogre had a spear. Perfect.
Well, maybe we don't need to go back, but it's still turning night, perhaps we should seek safety in the town.
Town's 2 days away.
Ah,
And there are still other ogres here. I think we would be best to await their...
I think now that we've defeated their champion, honor would dictate that they retreat for now.
the valley is ours for this night.
I think so too. If Arasa really values rituals as much, I doubt she would just, override her own champion and send in the master.
She is one for pomp and circumstance.
Well, let's make camp and keep watch then. Advance in the morning.
I will go and pick up the ogre spear.
You pick it up. It's a little bit bigger than your spear, maybe a little awkward. If you can find a way to hack off the end of it and shorten it down, it'll work just fine.
Is it a size large weapon or something?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's basically the same spear that you have, like a normal spear, but instead of being like a 6-foot shaft, it's like a 9-foot shaft, and it's just like a little too long to use properly in combat for you.
Does it have a metal point?
It does have a metal point. But this is like raw iron metal instead of like nice polished steel.
I take it the ogre doesn't have anything else on them, right?
No, you
Loincloth,
took all the things he had on him,
spear.
other than like paint.
Does he
could
have a
scrape
holy
some-
symbol or something like that?
No, well, he's got the paint of the Via Verasi across his chest, with like his spine being the shaft.
How long did you say the spear was, Neal?
9 feet.
Well, consulting the arms and equipment guide, spears 10 feet or longer cannot be wielded with one hand. Therefore,
Unless by a
9-foot
size
spear-
large creature.
Therefore, a 9-foot long spear can be wielded one-handed.
I'm
Sound
telling
that
you
way for me.
the spear is too long. Just chop off the last 3 feet of it, and then it's a good spear. I'm sure you could use it one-handed in combat, but that would be more like in a pike situation where you only have these things in front of you. If you want like the 9-foot spear in normal combat where you're like whirling around, you're going to be like knocking people behind you with it accidentally because you're not going to be able to hold it out in front of you that far to do the proper turn. It's going to be a pain.
We can modify it.
All right.
Excellent.
So we
That's
keep
all I
watch.
wanted.
I'll get a fire going, and I guess make whatever food we've got, whatever the leftovers there is from people who were eating before, and
Yeah.
I'll as we're all sitting around the fire. So, what is our plan tomorrow? Do we head deep into the woods, try and find more of the ogres, see what Verasi is up to, or do we just fortify ourselves here and wait?
I am uncertain. Perhaps reconnaissance into the woods was the first task we were given by Malchus. Now that we no longer have information to work on, further reconnaissance seems like an appropriate idea.
Yeah, maybe we can find this arena that you overheard them talking about.
Perhaps. Perhaps we could even devise some clever way to speed up the process of fighting these creatures while we're out there.
They sleep in a cave or something like that. My entangle spell could maybe stop them from escaping, and we could
Perhaps.
use
Yes.
fire or smoke or something.
I agree. Let us venture forth, find what we can out about the creatures. And based on what we discover, we can plan from there.
I'm sure if we get into a fight with just a few of them, Isuel will be able to defeat them for us.
I'm
am
not sure what you
certain-
want to. Sorry.
Speak up.
Never
Nix.
apologize for speaking your mind. Please.
Well, I'm not sure what you are what kind of reconnaissance you are trying to find. So they do have a giant ogre kiddie pool, and they do seem to have some sort of arena. Their champion is dead. They are probably still around 12 ogres. So what is you trying to find? Where they are? Because we know where they would be. We also know what their numbers are.
We don't necessarily know where they would be.
I
Maybe
wish to know what they plan to do next.
yeah.
And
and
perhaps knowing that, we can stop it.
if we
Or
wait-
perhaps you would suggest we await here for the next attack. Prepared
I
as
think
we
they
are.
will elect another champion and then attack again.
You think they'll keep attacking one by one?
Not necessarily, especially since Malchus has shown his disregard for the rules of war. They may
That's what
begin
they
to
expect
bend the
us to
rules
do.
themselves.
Malchus would have us do something outside of the rules, not what they expect. Perhaps sneaking up on them in the night is more what he had in mind. How could we catch them off guard?
The last things we've done to them was to sneak up to them and ambush them where they are. So they know that is what our tactic is. They know that we are very proactive people who usually don't wait, but go ahead. I doubt we would be able to sneak in as well as we did last time.
So you are suggesting that we practice the patience of the spider. We have weaved our trap. Now we wait in it for them.
I do agree with that. I do not know how long our waiting time is going to be. I don't know how fast they're going to attack. But we might try to find a way to strengthen our defenses a little bit further to make sure that whenever they come for us and for our trap, that we are better prepared this time.
There is wisdom in these words. I am happy to continue to work upon protecting this valley.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. We can defend.
Well, if you would like to hear me out on this one, it might be a longer quest. I'm not sure how much time we do have, but if you have paid close attention to what Kale is able to do, has he given anybody of you his flask last time?
His flask? No.
Well,
metal
it's
flask.
my flask. It's now filled with a horrifically foul drink. I would not suggest sharing your flask with Kale anytime soon.
I did identify what kind of foul drink he was brewing there, and it is entirely possible to make substances that are very similar to what he had in mind when he filled that flask. I've never really practiced it because I'm obviously only a few days old, but I believe there are some powders and some substances that are able to make our fortifications even stronger. That will also could be easily wielded, for example, by guards or villagers who would be willing to, defend the village in case we are not around, because that might also happen at some point.
Go on.
That the village has to defend itself.
How could a powder defeat an ogre?
Well, there are different powders. Some can blind people. Others set things aflame. For example, nature is quite the interesting thing, and if you know how to handle it, then you can make some nice fortifications with it.
And let me guess.
When you
we find
smell
these
the
in the
wrong
woods?
flower, you sneeze. Or not
Yeah.
just the woods, also the mountains. But the mountains are past the woods, so I guess, Yes.
Well, perhaps we could do both plans at once. Reconnaissance on the ogres and find your magical powders.
We could try for it. To actually use those powders in the end, I would need somebody in the village who has the equipment to set up, the necessary... I need the necessary items to actually be able to process the stuff we might find in the forest and in the mountains.
Well, we have the magic shovel again. Perhaps we could organize the men of the town to fortify the defenses on this side of the river whilst we head into the woods tomorrow for reconnaissance and to look for these powders.
I wonder, do you think there's anybody in the village who would actually be interested in retrieving something from beyond the woods or in the woods? Because I take it that it's not a place where the villagers go very often, and there might be something they might be interested in.
Surely it's too dangerous now. I don't think the ogres are the only inhabitants.
I agree. It might be too dangerous for them, but what about us? We might be able to do somebody a favor, and they return
I
a favor
see.
to us afterwards,
True. But it's 2 days back to town.
It is. But nobody knows how much time we have. Would you like me to estimate how much time we have left before we are being overrun?
You mean before the ogres attack again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How could you do that?
I need a cup of tea actually for that.
Oh, here you go.
It's British. She's always got a cup of tea on him somewhere.
So I guess on the evening campfire, you see Nyx is still it's quite dark yet, right, Neal? It's evening now.
Yes.
We've gathered around.
Yes.
Nyx is starting to get a nosebleed again, but she doesn't seem particularly worried about it. So it's just out of one nostril. It's just running down her face and her throat. And she slowly brews herself a cup of tea. Drinks about half of it, and then throws out the rest of the liquid and starts with like a really long finger moving the little herbs around in her cup as she does an omen reading check to see how urgent the omens bode for the arrival of the ogres.
I think I should be making your checks in secret so I can lie to you if they fail.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
I already know what I'm gonna say, so I'm not, I'm interested in knowing the truth, but whether I'm gonna tell it is the other thing.
Right. Omen reading. What does that key off of? What is your omen reading check?
I believe it is wisdom -2. Yes, wisdom -2. Omen reading.
Okay, so what is your wisdom?
My wisdom is a 13. Or willpower, I guess.
Right.
Around that.
So it's an 11. Okay. So you are omen reading when the ogres will attack, when things will go. Based on the leaves in your tea, or describe for me again how it is?
The constellation of herbs in my tea, what they resemble, and how dangerous it does seem to look. So it's like if there's, for example, an animal that looks very fierce, and like ready, like a wild cat ready to jump on something, I know it is very, very urgent. Whereas it's like a sleeping cat, right? I know we still do have plenty of time to prepare ourselves.
Yeah. Well, as you stir, all the little things sink and bob and sink and swirl, and eventually it evens itself out with 5 little flakes of herb floating around in the tea in like a pentagram shape. A pentagon shape? I guess with it, when it's just dots, it can be a pentagon or a pentagram, depending on your...
Or pentacle.
Yep. And I think for you, this interpretation means that you've got about a week.
5 to 7 days is how I take it. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll say, I think we do have plenty of time.
And how did you discern this?
I
speak
put
to the
my
gods?
face. I put my face really, really close to Abaddon. I'm gonna whisper into his ear. Magic.
Okay. So what do you propose we do with this week?
I propose we go back to town. We try to find somebody who needs a favor done in the woods. Maybe it be something collected or something else. We need somebody who has money or somebody who has equipment to be able to set up. What I'm looking for would be an alchemist lab, something that would be useful to both me and Kay whenever he's ready to join us again. And then we could actually probably both of us use this lab to increase our fortifications.
Okay, so
I don't
we head
need
back to
much.
town. We come back here. It's been 4 days, and then we've got another 2 days to search the woods before the ogres attack. I look around and nodding at everyone else around the fire. As you will, June. What do you think?
Seems a fine plan.
Okay. So you will all go to sleep tonight and then head back to town tomorrow to see about anyone needing anything in the woods, and then head out to the woods the next day?
Yes. Do we need 2 days to make our way back to town, or is it possible to press on?
No,
Like,
it'll be
to
a
actually try to make
2-day
time?
a 2-day journey. I guess you could try and hike out through the grasslands if you really wanted to push it and like make some progress today. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But where are we in our lunar cycle here? Oh my god, does this calendar not have phases of the moon on it? What piece of shit calendar is this?
Doesn't tell you when you cut your hair, no? Lunar calendars usually do that. My granny has one, that's why it tells you when to do what at which moon phase.
What?
Yeah, there's a certain time at which you're supposed to cut your hair and at which you're supposed to like wash your clothes and everything. If you believe in the lunar calendar and you believe in all the mumbo jumbo around it, then you can actually organize your entire life after the phases of the moon. That's what
Do you
people do.
come from a long line of weird woods witches, Faye? Is that why is your grandmother the inspiration for Nyx?
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, that's sufficiently creepy. So I'm gonna go, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with a little more D&D.